sprinkled in, but like you said, Top Esports, an absolute beast of a team to have to go against.
It's absolutely right, and they're going to have to go against them right now. Here we are into Champion Select for their first match here at Worlds. Nocturne already taken away from Levi, and we can segue into some champion pools here, guys.
You immediately see the smiles from the coaches and the players like, yeah, we weren't going to get that one.
I also like now the respect coming out from GAM up against Knight. There's a bit of a meme in the Chinese community that if Knight thinks he's better than you, he will style on you. If he respects you, he will not play that well. GAM showing the respect to Knight, who has popped off against KD in Champions Queue lately, so I like that.
Yep. Silas is also like pretty busted right now, so I think it's just worthy
Double
of a
whammy.
minute just in general. Exactly. Caitlyn not going to be seen. I really like the Aatrox, but I find it weird that it's banned on the blue side, and we'll have to see what Top Esports have in mind for that first pick, because the Maokai has been taken away, and I was taught by James Dash Patterson that Maokai is just the most broken champion in the history of the universe right now, and I would agree, but here is a cat. Let's see where the GAM Esports have themselves an answer for this one.
I will say for the side of TS, they're also one of the teams who look incredibly happy in things like the Sivir Yumi meta. Jacula was absolutely popping off, so huge pickup for the side of TES. But now looking over to GAM, they were one of the most creative teams in the VCS. Does it get locked in?
Oh, of course it does. It has to.
Oh,
No. I'm sorry, that was me. That was
that's
100% me. I believed, and then, of course, it was going to be denied.
We'll forgive you for that one, Atlas.
Metal Horse is actually still pretty cool.
I wouldn't even mind. Okay, never mind. I was saying I wouldn't mind a Pyke lock-in later on. I do think that without an AD carry there, locking in Pyke can definitely backfire. But we're going to get very early on the rail here for BN. He was such a big part of what made GAM Esports such an incredible force to be reckoned with domestically. Before he joined the roster, they looked overall pretty okay, not really amazing, but after he joined, their win rate skyrocketed. So the early prio on the rail here, very understandable.
Yeah, I've seen Sivir Yumi locked in as the first two picks before. That was a pretty comfortable victory yesterday. We'll see whether Top Esports are going to have a repeat of that one. I like denying the Poppy as sort of that answer to Yumi by just picking it yourself. I think it's kind of awesome, but Tristana Rel has a lot of power in the early stages of the game, and this could be something that GAM Esports can play through.
And that's what we're already looking for, right? Is them to try and set behind that bot lane coming out from the side of TS. I will say over in the VCS, GAM, we're a lot more of a team who they won't necessarily always find the early leads or go crazy like Saigon Buffaloes were doing, but they were the best team fighters in the region by far, so a lot of power there. But like you were just hitting on Atlas, the Poppy can prevent a lot of that, especially with the champions that GAM have picked up so far.
I'm also hoping that we're going to see a counter pick saved here for Kiaya. He, to me, together with Levi, are some of the most interesting, cool parts of this team. Their top side 2v2, I think, is incredibly strong, and with that R5 counter pick, maybe we can see them find an angle there.
I also think just using that to go against TS, that Wayward's a rookie coming onto the international stage this year. He was one of the weaker parts of TS. I won't say weakness because he's still incredibly good, but if there is someone on the side of Top Esports you can punish, it would be Wayward.
Well, we'll see whether they can do that here on the side of GAM, as we have got through the bans. It was Rise Renekton banned on the blue side. Interesting. And there's the Syndra, not quite reworked just yet. And the Azir and Akali were banned away, so not going to have those options. Goes for something a little bit more tried and true. And there is definitely, like, I'm starting to feel it, you know? Like, we just want to fight you in the mid-game all the time. And I think this comp's kind of starting to work there.
Yeah, I think it looks good, right? That they have the range available, the aggression going to be able to come out in the mid lane. It also is a bit of a takeaway from Knight. He was a huge Syndra player, and it might not be something that's a staple in the meta right now, but RNG did bring it out earlier on. This would be a counter pick.
Oh my, this would be a lot of fun as well. Will Knight do it? There's a lot of smiles. I don't know whether that means that he's joking. I hope that it doesn't, because we need to see this. Oh no, that's the only corner break we like to see.
Again, Atlas. Don't talk about that. And overall,
no, I'm not saying it. I'm not doing it.
No, we're not doing it. We're talking about the TS comp. I really like
the fact that Yasuo has used his counter pick to Nara in the past.
I really like Ari and Poppy. I think it's very strong in terms of finding picks in the mid game.
Oh.
Yeah,
I didn't do it.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
We have the same hair. You were thinking it. We know.
Oh no, we should not have started the hive mind. I can never get away with anything anymore. Well, Jack's going to be locked in, and we're not going to have too much as far as interesting picks are concerned. But
still,
the Ahri we haven't seen so much, and Syndra going to be coming out as well. So the mid lane kind of saving it. I hope you'll forgive us for the U.
You know, to me, that's the exciting part, right? We have this matchup coming out in the mid lane. Syndra's such an aggressive champion. You can look for those out trades tonight. I think going to be waiting to that level 6 mark when you have the mobility to try to dodge out on the stun. But for GAM, right, a lot of early and mid-game aggression coming through with mid and bot. You have the Jax to scale and play for later on. And for the side of TS, I'm very curious to see how this one works out because a bit more scaling oriented, but you still have the Ahri to set up some pick potential.
And on the side of GAM, I think you want to spend a lot of time in that bot side. Tristana, Rel, incredible power. And if you can snowball those and you can continuously forward hard engages in the mid game, it can become very hard for the Sivir Yumi to ever reach critical mass.
Yeah, and that's exactly what TES need to try and do in this game, right? It's about weathering the storm to allow those ricochets to just destroy the entire team. Whereas over the other side, I mean, theoretically, if you start drawing a beat enough, Tristana can also scale very, very far into the game. However, not with quite as much of that 5v5. That means we're going to be looking towards that top side, looking towards Kiaya to see whether that Jax is going to work out here for the VCS squad. And we have to, like, we need to hammer home just how successful this team is domestically, right? As we hop onto the Rift here for this game, GAM Esports haven't got below second place in the past, like, 4-5 splits. Also, Katie, ever since he started playing, he's won 6 out of 8 of the playoff finals that he's been in, and also has been in one every single time. Also, Prime Gaming is giving away 150,000 RP. Ladies and gentlemen, several lucky fans every single day of Worlds. Head over to primegamingworlds22.com to enter and make sure to put in today's secret code to get bonus entries. For more information, you can use !giveaway in the chat.
Minions have spawned.
And I want to highlight not just GAM, but the VCS as a whole. We've seen that even LCK organizations, as Levi having a bit of a giggle, have started signing Vietnamese players. We saw the first Vietnamese player debut in the LCK Academy League, or in Challengers rather. We've seen Gen G in particular also really invest heavily into the scene, and actually having them back at Worlds, having them, or giving them the opportunity rather, to take on all the teams at Worlds, I think it's such a monumental moment.
And I think especially when we look at what Saigon Buffalo was able to do and how much of a fight they were able to put up against a lot of teams, GAM coming in as the first seed are a team that I've heard a lot of people actually have a surprising amount of faith in. Even looking at their draft, we kind of talked about how they want to set up their bot side. We can already see Levi pathing down there right now. But one thing I like is style. I think some nice trades. GAM, I think, already setting up for this. You can see Katie just putting that ward down towards the bottom side.
And the crash
this action isn't going to stop.
Yeah, exactly. And I know, like, it's not necessarily a play-by-play moment, but it was starting to get a little bit dicey there.
It was getting dicey.
So I had to try and jump in as best I could. But gentlemen, no, take it back away. I'll try to be a little bit more...
If you have something to say, Atlas, then feel free.
No. It's about whether they've got something to play, not about whether I have something to say. I was interrupted. It was very, very rude of me. But here we are, checking out all of the lanes as Prowling Projectile being frustrating on the bottom side of the map. We're trying to avoid looking at that one too much. I think the mid lane's definitely going to be interesting because we haven't seen so much of the good old Ahri Syndra for a while. Used to be a matchup we saw a fair bit. Has since fallen off, but Levi's lying in wait as the Poro Sejuani. Tien's going to get to the bad news here as the Steadfast Presence will give him some movement speed, but just waits it out. Does Levi, is this going to be a first blood solo kill? Not quite yet, as Tien's going to have to back. What are we doing? Okay, not going to blow the flash. He is going to be absolutely fine, but it looks like this red steel should come through.
Levi is completely bullying and decimating the summer MVP of the LPL.
Oh, he's going in?
Yeah, gets the smite as well. Okay, PA's going to be coming over here also. So, yeah, GAM Esports off to a pretty good start.
And it's not only that Style and BA move over, but also notice in mid lane, Katie also making his way towards in case there was a possible collapse, in case there was an actual fight. And early on, GAM Esports back at Worlds, and that's a pretty convincing opener.
Yeah, and what was the way that this sort of, the Poppy jungle, how was that attacked last time around? It was about attacking the early game and denying the path that you wanted to take. And once again, it's going to be Levi doing it and disrupting Tien and what he wants to get done this
I also think just the prep against TES individually is really good because we saw in most of their losses, if it wasn't them throwing a late game lead, it came from setting Tien behind early, but Tien now wanting to see if he can make anything happen in zone, but Katie's going to fall for it.
It's really interesting that you're like setting up TES as throwing a late game lead as Kiaya gets a little in danger, but will be fine in the end, because it's kind of a given that they get ahead early. So it's just about whether they throw the lead or not.
But still, when the few times they did fall behind early and lose, it was about setting Tien behind. So GAM, I think, doing a great job of scouting out top esports strengths and how they like to play in the early game.
Well, I mean, to TS's credit, you can't throw a lead if you don't have one. So
there we go.
Strategy here, guys. It's a bit of that five-head type situation. However, they do still have a lead. Largely because of just killing minions, just slightly better, although it doesn't really mean anything right now. Tune of about 100, not going to really write home about it.
And with, I think particularly on the top half of the map, specifically the top and jungle 2v2, any big lead that can be found there can be very, very explosive, right? If you do get ahead on things like the Sejuani and the Jax, you can just continuously jump in, find a favorable trade, and get out again. And that 2v2, able to get the permafrost on very, very quickly, you can find a big lead for Kiaya. And as you pointed out, like, attack Wayward. Not that it's an easy task, but might also be another opening here for GAM.
That's actually why I like GAM's draft just overall. Like, you can attack any lane, you can play towards jungle, set Tien behind, and looking at TES, all you can really do is Tien is kind of shadow your lanes, make sure GAM isn't able to find those opportunities, and try and play off mistakes, but they might have caught out Katie.
Yeah, they in fact do. The flash immediately comes out. Tien not going to be able to get around there to influence this one, but GAM Esports is going to be able to take themselves a Drake, and it should be just the flash from the Syndra going missing. And now, that is still a bit of a disaster here for GAM, because Syndra relies on that a lot for a lot of playmaking, as Saigon Buffalo's call out there from BA, like that one a lot. Boomerang, it's come forward, but not actually going to be able to stop the Rel from making it back to the tower.
And now it is, I think, up to Levi to make sure that they keep proper track of where Tien is, because if he can find an angle on Katie, and Katie is not able to find himself a shatter, then you just kind of die. There's not a lot of counterplay, especially into an Ahri, who can go for a flash charm. Not a lot of things you can do about that, so kind of a window here for top esports and a possible way for them to really start accelerating, the way that we know that this team excels at.
Especially with the fact that Knight does have the unskilled spellbooks. You can see right now having the Ignite online, even just kind of adding that little bit more threat onto Katie in the mid lane.
Well, see whether he can actually capitalize. Of course, quarter of that flash cooldown has now been used up, so gonna have to get over there and start trying to do something as soon as they can. So far, if you have a look at the CS, it's only really the top lane that is really standing out to me. Style looking for a bit of a back timer here, which is why he's starting to fall a bit behind. And of course, Jackie Love and Mark laning extremely well into the Rel Tristana, which was picked into this, right?
And we do see there, as we've seen already with Sivir Yumis in this tournament, that even if you get some good trades early, if you don't find an actual all-in, this lane is super obnoxious to play into. Sivir, even after the nerf, still has an incredible amount of shove, and combined with the harass from a Yumi, it can become very, very difficult to ever get out, and then you kind of get stuck underneath your turret, and it becomes really, really tough to ever find a good back time without giving anything up.
And, you know, with that, for TS playing the Sivir, I think a lot of people, like with League of Legends, you have the most recent memory in mind. A lot of people are going to think of Jackie Love with that finals and kind of the dash in, which ended up with TS losing, but he really was just standout carry in LPL Summer. But GAM, maybe looking to contest.
Levi over the wall here, actually going to hold off for a moment, buying some space for Kiaya to get forward. Katie and BA just standing alongside. TS have this one low, and it looks like GAM are going to give it up. And they will do so. Not going to lose anyone in the process. Of Style a little bit late to the party.
And that was the big thing, right? Just that prio coming in from the Super Yumi that Chronicler was just hitting on, able to push in those waves to make sure that play was able to come through. And for TS, I mean, it seems like they're completely fine with how the pace of this early game's going with the draft they have, but GAM going slow down.
Yeah, immediate flash there from Beer to start this one up, but the final chapter's fantastic. First blood to be picked up for Jackie Love of all people, and they're not done there. It's a double for Knight and a double for Jackie. Oh man, Top Esports, it was a slow start. I was about to start talking about the fact that there's a bit of a lull state in this one, and then all of a sudden the game explodes.
And Tian, that Poppy! How many times today are we going to see multiple people get trapped by a stat-first presence? The value of that absolutely insane in that play. And GAM try to catch Top Esports off guard. Doesn't end up working out.
Yeah, I think GAM were thinking only a couple members would be rotating down to that bottom lane, but look how many ultimates come through. Mark's especially doing so much to lock the members of GAM down. And I mean, this play was so explosive, you really don't even have time. They were there, and then they weren't, boys. As Knight looking ecstatic after that play coming through. Out of nowhere, we're almost up to a 3K gold lead for TES.
And literally out of nowhere, because the gold was entirely even as GAM entered that brush. Like,
We have a Kraken Slayer and Jackie Love now.
yeah, no, it's absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
I looked at my hands before and I thought there was a game, and it was an illusion.
That was not actually.
It was not on there.
Ooh, I do like this creativity coming
Ooh.
out from GAM, wanting to punish. Jackie Love didn't blow the flash before, but doesn't have the cleanse anymore.
I was trying to see whether the game was coming back. I was glancing at the hands, but Jackie Love's got that spell shield, like you talk about. Tien's going to move on in here as well.
Oh,
I have a
they feel it,
feeling
boys.
No.
they absolutely know what's going on. Prowling Projectile gets the news. That's a fantastic spell shield. Steadfast presence to deny everyone any exit from the situation. Levi going to have to book it to get himself out of there. Tien just flashing forward with that heroic charge. On top of it, the double snare to come forward with the final chapter, and it's another two to be picked up, this time for the bottom lane of TES.
GAM Esports back at Worlds, and Top Esports says, hello, welcome. We're not going to give you an easy time because that was a masterful read from Top.
It was great, right? I mean, again, the steadfast presence coming out from Tien. I like that they also waited Mark's ultimate able to catch people out, and now going to get a ton of gold onto Jackie Love when this comp is built around him. You can even see on the minimap them forcing their way in, getting some vision down, and with Dragon now up on the board, I'm curious to see if Top pivot or if GAM are able to use this bit of window they have coming back on the map to try and get that one for themselves.
So, Lyric, I want to go back to something you said earlier. Tell me more about Top throwing leads, because right now, it's 11.5 minutes, and I'm not seeing a lot of windows.
You know, I just want to say, Game 5 LPL Finals, TS JDG, a lot of people believe TS should have won that one before Jackie Love decided to dash in pretty much the whole of JDG.
This read.
It was so great, right? You can just tell they had the idea that they were down here. The steadfast presence was so nice. Levi buys a bit of time with his ult to keep Tien down. We see the heal come out, and then once Mark's ult comes out, they lock two members down and pick up these kills quite easily.
Yeah, there are just too many options, but we've got a bit of a fight here. X-Drake going to be going down very, very low. Picked up there by Tien, and now the fight is on. Steadfast Presence again getting amazing value. Wait! It's going to be taken down. It's a double kill. The resets are coming forward for style, but Knight says absolutely not today. This time, we are going to be winning this team fight, and now Katie is in a whole bunch of trouble. Nice denial there, but even the Prowling Projectile is doing way too much now that this lost chapter has been picked up, and TES are going to be able to walk away with Drake and a one-team fight.
Still, Style getting some kills on the board. I mean, for GAM, with how far they're falling behind, I feel like this is a fight you will take. You can see TS in a favorable position. The charm comes out, but BA being able to bring in Tien, we can see nice damage coming out because they aren't able to get on the Tristana, and Stell's like, hey, actually, I'm going to get in your face, but it's Knight here with the flash in to guarantee the first kill, and once again, Yumi just such a nuisance.
Yeah, I really want to highlight as well. I know we always meme about Yumi and how the champion has no skill expression, but I've seen missed Yumi ultimate.
Oh, yes.
But not in this game, and not from Mark. Here we go again.
Yep, someone's dead yet again. This time, they belong to TS as Wayward is going to fall down. His first involvement, and it's the wrong way around. However, this game is far from over, and it's still a 5,000 gold lead for TS. But I like the GAM keep pulling the trigger over and over again.
And it at least sets up potentially maybe for Kiaya to get a plate here. Is nope. as we see Knight gonna TP to the top side to actually prevent that one. Plates are about to fall as well, so any bit of extra gold could have been nice. And now with the lead Top Esports have, I love that they're just running into
nice.
GAM's jungle trying to steal away these camps. But Levi gonna be able to secure that one for himself.
Yep, like that one a lot. Just says thanks for the help. He's going to be able to pick that one up. So, Top Esports now pushing down this mid lane. Jackie Love does a lot of damage right now with this these first two items that are on a much faster clip than I usually see. And he's been holding on to them for quite a while.
It's 14 minutes and
Yeah.
it's Kraken Slayer and PD.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now.
I mean,
it's
PD
not
is
necessarily...
It's kind of like two daggers crossing over, and Style also has two daggers as well. He just needs to cross them over, and he's got item parity.
Yeah.
It's going to be absolutely fine. Style takes half of his health bar, incidentally, from Jackie Love existing in the same lane as him. That just doesn't seem fair at all. And he is going to back away. They do have a lot of vision in this area as Wayward. Not going to be able to steal that one away once again, Levi. Fantastic ability to secure these jungle camps and scuttles, but it's just not going to be enough here to stop the tirade the TES have here towards the mid lane. Wayward able to escape this time, but yeah, just not able to find anything on the cross map.
And you already mentioned that, Atlas. I do want to highlight again the fact that GAM keeps looking for openings is very good, because if you don't do anything, I know we meme a lot about Top Esports and their ability to throw leads, but in a situation like this, if you just let the game go its normal course, it's never going to happen. Like, there's just no way as Kiaya...
Yeah, does manage to leap strike to relative safety, but the snare is still going to come through. Just able to hop off and counter-strike. Going to deny a little bit here as he turns, but it's not going to be enough. This Sivir is so incredibly fed.
That's an Everfrost, Yumi! That's not fair!
Oh my
For a
goodness.
second, I questioned myself. I was like, wait, I thought that was Jackie Love. Is this Knight? But no, Mark bringing the lockdown to make sure that any member is able to just run GAM down. And GAM still trying to find that cross map, looking to punish Wayward. But Wayward with a beautiful flash doesn't let the play come through. And sadly for GAM, Top Esports just getting further and further ahead, now even having the Rift Herald in pocket.
Yeah, this is starting to get a little bit absurd, and I do really like that Everfrost adaptation. I'm glad that you guys managed to figure it out. I just assume that it's going to be Ludens these days, but I don't even bother looking at the items, and I definitely should continue to do so. As Style just trying to find whatever minions that he can. Currently they're in the mid lane as Knight wants some popcorn chickens, but he's not going to be able to secure all of them. Once again, Levi with his secure of camps working out. But GAM, I mean, they're trying to find these options. You've mentioned it before, but it just feels so incredibly difficult.
There's just not a lot, because except for Wayward, as he's going to go in, but that's what I'm talking about. He still has Flash, Ghost, and his ultimate, and his stopwatch. Like, how you need to kill him basically like 5 times before you actually are able to get a kill, and that goes for everyone on TES. There's been so many, I think, really strong itemization choices, so that now, how are you ever going to find an angle as GAM?
Yeah, I mean, things like stopwatches coming out, we can see in mid lane, the amount of mobility on the side of TS as well. Because I feel like ideally what GAM would want to do here is you kind of drop one lane and overload the opposite side of the map. Whoa. Style almost just goes down to, once again, Alice. Jackie Love just happened to be in the same area as him, but it feels like even if GAM do drop, let's say like bot wave, overload mid, that with things like Yumi ult, Sivir ult coming out, flashes up, that they just won't be able to guarantee the lockdown on TS's members to find the picks.
Yeah, and they're not even needing to group up for it or anything like that, not even needing to play around the Naba that can be so useful if they want to be able to start some of these fights, not to
Wayward has
mention...
had to do nothing this game.
No, exactly. No. I mean, even Jackie Love's barely had to do anything. He just like throws boomerangs around, clears waves, and then his ricochet murders the enemy team. Yeah. It's not very fair. However, he is playing expertly, and his play in the early game has really set up for this so far. Tien is going to be able to lock down their second Drake of the game. Infernal Soul, by the way.
There's games where you're like, oh, hold up.
All right, Rocket Jump to get Style out to relative safety. Teleport to come forward. We're committing to a team fight here as the final chapter is going to come through. The exhaust on top of Katie as well as Knight just dives into that backline. Great double knock-up. The Rel's going to be taken down first. Levi taken down. There's the double kill for Jackie Love, and now Gamma on the run. But can you escape The fleet-footed Sivir, I don't think you can. You definitely cannot escape Knight, who is just rushing spiritually all over this map.
There isn't even a major objective up for TS to turn this into. Just finding an opportunity where they're like, hey, GAM stepped a bit too far, and we don't like that. Ults come out, and now just reclaiming vision.
This might be a pre-20-minute Infinity Edge for Jackie Love.
Yeah, this seems like unnerfed Sivir, like release, like reworked Sivir type situation here.
In a normal game state, this engage from TES can backfire.
I mean, BA had a good ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, the Magna Storm was fantastic.
Yeah, locked 2 people down. That's why Wayward ended up getting so low. TN as well. But sadly, too much damage. And again, the Boomerang Blades just jumping around, killing the other members of GAM. Sadly, the damage just isn't there right now. And like we said, for TS, they just ended up turning this into a bit more vision. They were able to push in their waves a little bit more, but really nothing on the map for them to take. Baron will be up in 30 seconds, though, so that's something that's definitely going to be on top esports' mind.
Yeah, I like how you're talking about the first spawn of the Baron being like, oh yes, this is something that this Sivir composition should definitely do. 20-minute Barons, fantastic. Rift Herald going to come out.
Yes, the IE!
Yeah,
we almost
no,
said death cap.
We're not even, it's not a facetious point. They definitely should just go towards the Baron.
I don't even think they need it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
maybe Baron buff has been equated to Jackie Love having this many items this early. And we talk about Jackie Love a lot so far this game, but Tien has just been so extraordinarily good to make sure that his carries are so strong. But here we go. Here's the flank play. Kiaya's going to move forward, spotted on that control ward. And I don't think they're going to find the angle here. They need that element of surprise, and TES are going to back away intelligently. 9,000 gold, approaching 10 is their lead right here. And Scatter the Weak probably shouldn't even stun TES anymore because they are definitely not weak. It is just not a thing. They are going to dive forward here as well as the final chapter looking completely broken as an ultimate. Levi going to go down. They managed to take TN, but that's his job. He's a tank. And now Knight, full health, looking for the last member. Jackie's going to fall down. But I have a feeling that TES can still win this game.
Yeah, TES lose 2 members, but they should be able to at least guarantee this inhibitor on top side. The gold lead now growing over 10,000 at the 20-minute mark.
At the very least, they can't end. So that's something. But
Your glass is aggressively half full.
I
really
try.
like it.
Yeah, well, I was going to go into historical facts, such as that GAM, when they did go to the Southeast Asia Games, which they stormed, by the way, didn't need to take Barons because they were winning very hard. And with the pace that this game is on, I don't know if top esports are going to need a Baron because Jackie Love ends up dying here, and that's the only reason why we are still in this game.
Yeah, we see. I mean, right, they just brute force, inhibitor turret goes down, but Jackie Love taking a fair bit of damage from the Rel, and it sets up for Style to jump in and finish that one off. And honestly, again, had they not fallen so far behind, I feel like BA has been actually having a really solid game on the Rel to try to set up. Rosati carries,
This is very cute. Able to
Katie?
get on in there, not able to interrupt the back. So Katie going to make the great escape. Tien now going to discover other members of GAM towards this top side as BA, the Magna Storm is through. There is a lot of money on this team, and my goodness, Jackie Love just tearing Style apart. Oh, the steadfast presence again. Tien is so extraordinarily good. It's ridiculous. Has been all game long and is going to do so yet again. They're denying the escape over the wall for the Sejuani. And now back to that Baron that you mentioned before. 2 minutes late on that one. However, we'll forgive them for it.
It's okay. It's okay for top. I think they're feeling pretty good. 25 stacks on one Magi's, 11 on the Yumi as well.
and Wayward just running down Kiaya, but has to be careful.
Yeah, I'm trying to turn that one around with the counter-strike.
Okay, no, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't have to be careful.
Yeah, the double boomerang comp certainly working out well here, and Wayward is demonstrating that he is also very strong at this point in the game, even though he hasn't been quite as involved as the 8, 2, and 11 Sivir, or the 6, 0, 10 Ari in the middle.
And I think the unfortunate reality for GAM is that this is a fate that a lot of people that have played against TES are very, very familiar with, and with Inhibitor down, with Baron now being taken and with the gold lead being this big, Jackie Love is approaching 4 items. I mean, I guess he just went for components because it's like it's not. I don't think it's gonna
No. I also feel like for TS at this Worlds, there's a lot of pressure on them to do well. 2020, they were one of the favorites to win. It was like them, Damwon, and JDG being talked about, but Suning were the team in the LPL to make it to finals. So TES definitely wanting to come in strong and have a bit of a statement game up against GAM.
Yeah, it was another one of those sort of, it was a sad situation as well, given the fact that it was a lot of LPL over one side of those knockout brackets and a lot of LCK over the other. We really want to see more of these matchups. We will get more of them as the tournament goes on, and see whether JackeyLove's going to be able to continue his dominance against the other teams in the group. But for now, they're going to be pushing down this bottom lane, looking to lock down the final inhibitor that is in front of them. And with this Baron, at 24 minutes, it is extraordinarily difficult for GAM to defend no matter what the game state was. They're going to go for a last-ditch effort here, and my goodness, even Mark is doing way too much damage. Nine picks up the double to start this one off. We're going to have one for JackeyLove here as well. Yaya does manage to get TN, but it's just not going to mean anything this time around. TES are going to destroy GAM Esports here. It is 100% a shellacking in TES's first game here at Worlds in the group stage. GAM Esports, I mean, the opposition was definitely a tough ask. It's a tough loss this time, but I think that we're going to see some better things from this team as the tournament goes on.
100%, and especially, right, looking